Welcome to the Dan Casper Show podcast, your chance to catch the full show anytime, anywhere. If you missed it live on the radio, no worries. We've got you covered with all the sports talk, opinions, interviews, and conversations from the show. From the Packers to the Brewers to the biggest stories in sports and around Wisconsin, it's all right here. This is the Dan Casper Show podcast. All right, halftime is over with. We are on to the third quarter, third hour, kicking off right now on this Tuesday morning. Thanks for hanging out with us. Appreciate it. Coming up in about, 15 minutes or so, we're going to chat with Mr. RJ Cardinal. We'll talk some hoops with him, latest and greatest in Badgertown. So that's coming up here in just a little bit. We'll talk some Brewers in about an hour with Hunter Baumgart, Brewers reporter for Fox Sports Wisconsin 920. So Hunter will be joining us in, again, just about an hour here. Send me your Toyson Ford Grind My Gears Tuesday notes. Send those puppies on over. Also your, what was I going to say? Your Grind My Gears. Oh, your I'm not saying, but I'm just sayings. Send those and your sports confessions. All right. Send me your sports confessions. Okay. You can hit us up with a text on that Shoe Doctors bullpen line at 715-830-1912. Again, 715-830-1912 on that Shoe Doctors bullpen line. So we'll get back to some more draft talk here as we are getting set for the NFL draft starting 2 days from now on Thursday. Packers will be on the clock on Friday unless they make a drastic move to move on up and such. So, but we'll get back to a little bit of that. We've got the Brewers back at it tonight. Off day yesterday, taking on the Tigers. Kyle Harrison on the mound for the Crew. First pitch will be at 5:40. 5:40. Coverage will begin about 35 minutes prior on your radio dials, 105.1 FM, 790 AM. This is kind of funny. This would be interesting if it does happen. But so Edwin Diaz for the Dodgers closer, he's going to be out for a while until the second half of the season. According to some reports out there, Is this? I gotta. First of all, I gotta find out. Is this true? This cannot be true. I don't think it is. I don't know, but it's like on Twitter. Let me see if I can find this thing, because I don't want to be had. I don't want to be had here. Okay, but there's a talk out there on social media that did the Dodgers seriously inquire about Mason Miller from the Padres? Did that seriously happen? I mean, that's like the Bears calling the Packers and asking about Josh Jacobs or something like that. That can't be true, can it? Now, Holly Baylor is the one that tweeted this out, but I know she also runs, or this person also runs a parody account, MLB on Facts. So, yeah, no. Well, I guess shoot your shot, I guess, but I'll have to see if that's. I just saw this pop up, so I don't know. I have to double check this. I got to see if this is actually true or not. But can you that? I guess if you're the Dodgers, you just try, right? I mean, you try if that is true, but I don't know. I don't know if that's all on the up and up. Call me skeptical on that one. So, but anywho, yeah, Dodgers probably are looking for a closer after Edwin Diaz is going to be out until the second half of the season. So, never say never, but could they pick up the phone and call the Brewers and inquire about a Trevor McGill or a Abner Uribe? I wouldn't put it out of the realm of possibility. Not one bit. Would the Brewers entertain that? That's the thing that just is frustrating, and maybe it is a grind my gears for a lot of people, is you look at the Brewers and you look at the Dodgers, and obviously that is a team that makes a lot of free agent moves, makes a lot of trades, and you would think that their farm system would be depleted or shortened. Nope, they've still got one of the best farm systems in all of Major League Baseball. In fact, one or two. Brewers, by a lot of accounts, now have the best one, but the Dodgers are right there, and it wasn't that long ago where the Dodgers had the number one farm system. It's just what they spend money, they print money, and they spend more money, and they scout really well, they draft really well, and build up their farm systems really well. You can't even say they just, they're not even like the Rams potentially, where they just trade off everything and that. But even like when the Rams draft, it feels like the Rams draft some decent, like good players. They find those value picks, those value players in the draft too. And that's the frustrating part with the Dodgers. You'd like to see them deplete their farm system with some of the moves, but nope, they do a really good job. So they can afford to make these trades. And that's where you see teams that are, when the Dodgers call, it's easy to say, no, don't pick up the phone, but they got good players in their farm system. That's the frustrating part. So we don't want to help out the Dodgers. We don't want to get we don't want the Dodgers to have all these really good players and that, but it's like if they're offering some of their best farm players, it's hard to say no for a lot of these teams. But the Dodgers just keep replenishing. They keep refilling that farm system, and it keeps coming with quality players and quality talent. That's hard for these teams to say no to. So if the Dodgers really are looking for somebody, would they make a call to Matt Arnold and the Brewers about Trevor McGill or Abner Uribe? Yeah. I wouldn't fault them. Now, would the Brewers do it? Trevor McGill was potentially, he was earmarked as a player that in the offseason, a lot of people thought was on the trading block. And I think a lot of it had to do with what we saw from Abner Uribe down the stretch of last season. And when you look at, Trevor McGill's contract right now, he is getting paid $4.7 million this year. He's got one more year of arbitration left, arbitration 3 for 2027. Then he is scheduled as a free agent in 2028. And he's 32 years old. So, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if the Brewers, even if they're still winning, and they're in a position to make the postseason, I wouldn't be surprised if Trevor McGill gets traded. He's more likely to be traded than Abner Uribe. Uribe, he's pre-arbitration for 2027, arbitration number 1 for 2028. They can hold on to him for a hot minute, for a while right now. You factor in the age for McGill. He's had some hiccups this year. If you get an offer, even if it's from a Dodgers team, I do think the Brewers would seriously consider it. Get something in return for an aging pitcher, for an aging closer, because, you got Uribe as your backup option. To me, it was a little surprising that, just a little, that they didn't trade Trevor McGill this offseason. I thought maybe a team would have given them an offer that they couldn't refuse. And knowing that they had Abner Uribe already on the roster, I thought it was kind of likely, but hey, they held on to him. And we'll see what happens. I think if there is one player on this roster that, in my opinion, is going to be traded before the deadline, it's going to be Trevor McGill. I feel like that's going to be the case. Could be wrong. Maybe they go on this insane run where they're just dominating games and bullpen's been lights out and they don't want to mess with that. And I'm perfectly fine with that too, because we've seen that before where you hand the ball off in the 7th and you've got like 3 closers in a row. We have seen Brewers teams like that before, so that wouldn't surprise me if they decide to go that route either. All right. Let's take a quick break, and we're going to talk some Badgers. Okay, we've got 3 new players joining on the men's Badger basketball team. We highlighted them a little bit yesterday, but I want to get RJ's inputs, analysis on them. Plus, John Blackwell yesterday, it seems like he's going to be going to Duke. At least that's what the odds makers are now saying. Going from Wisconsin to Duke. Can you fault him? I can't. But we'll take a quick break, and we'll catch up with Mr. Cardinal coming up after these few words. Spring is here, and it is the perfect time for a fresh start and a new ride. So whether you are planning some road trips or tackling some weekend projects, or you're just ready for something new, now is the time to upgrade. And at Toyson Ford, you will find a great selection of trucks, SUVs, and cars built to fit your lifestyle and your budget. Plus, their team is here to make your car buying experience easy and stress-free. This spring, drive something that you love. Toyson Ford, your next adventure begins there. All right, so we've got lots to catch up on for Badger basketball, and joining us right now is our Badger guy, Mr. R.J. Cardinal. So first things first, R.J., before we get to the 3 newcomers that were announced via the transfer portal coming over to the Badgers, John Blackwell yesterday posting up a photo, him at Duke and such, and it seems like maybe a decision is going to be coming soon. I know some of the expert opinions and forecasts out there now say he's going to, favored to go to Duke and such, but that one I did not see. And in fact, I'm maybe a little surprised that none of the Michigan teams are on his final list that's been floated out there.
Well, yeah, and like you said, almost every publication now flipped their crystal ball or actually made an official crystal ball to Duke, and like every page you go to, it's 100%.
Right.
So who knows? Maybe they're paying a little more than the rest of the teams that were there. Maybe there's still some, feelings towards the Michigan schools. That you never recruited me.
Yep.
And I'll take a visit. I'll look at you. I'll talk with you, but I'm not coming there. So, it's one of those things. Duke is still Duke. They come with the kind of prestige there, even though, as of late, they've had about as many early exits as Wisconsin. So he's going to a familiar situation. That's cool. And probably just making more money, but at least it's not a Big Ten team, I guess, is the best way to look at it. Don't have to see him automatically 1 to 2 times next year.
Right.
And I don't think we're going to the same kind of Thanksgiving tournament as Duke is. So only time we'd be matching up against Blackwell would be in the NCAA tournament next year. So hopefully hopefully both teams get there. I think all in all, both would be projected there, but we'll see if a matchup comes to fruition.
Right.
The NCAA loves making sure things down the road, turn into something that could happen with backstories.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So staying with the Hoops team, but over the weekend, we found out 3 new transfers coming over to Wisconsin. So first, let's kind of go one by one with these guys. And Trey Autry is coming over from George Washington. He's a guy that's 6'4" guard. He averaged 11 points per game. Shot 43.5% from the field, including a solid 38.5% from 3-point range. So George Washington kind of played an up-tempo 3-point offense, which seems like it fits Wisconsin. But on the surface, how do you like the signing of Trey Autry coming over to Wisconsin?
Yeah, in terms of, like you said, running a similar offense really is starting to get people to look, and probably the success players are having in Wisconsin's offense, and really statistically some people having the best seasons of their career in Wisconsin's offense. I like it. Yeah, when you're specifically starting to target higher percentages from not only the field but from 3-point range, almost 40%, is looking pretty good addition. His dad was a good basketball player, not the greatest of coach because his dad just got fired from Syracuse, but has the pedigree of being a basketball family. It's a good, stats-wise on paper and looking at what he did at George Washington, it looks like a very good addition to what Wisconsin's trying to do moving forward here, as we've seen over the last few years of the evolution of this offense. And the more you add guys like this, the more it's going to start turning into more just, beyond the arc offense. And whether people want to see that or not, I think, already with the guard from Australia, you have Owen Foxwell. He's a guy who can kind of take it inside too as a guard. So you'll still have somebody who can want to go to the hoop and can get to the hoop. And I'm pretty sure most of these guys we've added can do that as well. But I like the addition. It's one on paper at least. And I know there's people who they can get his mid-majors. Well, these guys were pretty good at their mid-majors.
Right.
So, I'm liking the addition there.
Yeah, I mean it worked out for Nick Boyd and John Tonje, so that's kind of where I give them, the benefit of the doubt for Wisconsin for some of these guys. So, maybe another one too. Ian Elmer, who's coming over from Miami of Ohio, that Miami of Ohio team that went undefeated in regular season, then fell short in postseason play, but maybe one of their better players off that squad. 12.7 points per game, nearly 6 rebounds per game. Dude shot 43% from 3-point range. So, I mean, there's a lot to like with this kid, too.
Yeah, and not to mention 50% from the field. He's doing okay. And once again, people will be like, well, I was in the MAC, and that conference sucks, and you can see what happened to them in the NCAA tournament. Well, sure, but, you got the best guy that many outlets consider on that team was the best guy. Mm-hmm. So, and it's something where Nick Boyd and John Blackwell talked to him and said, if that's something you like, and it's another one. He was, I think, Baylor and Wisconsin, went and visited Baylor, visited Wisconsin, and made his decision. So that's one of those, thanks John Blackwell, I guess, for getting in his ear. Nick Boyd, 1-year Badger, but really helping out and saying, I think that'd be a place for you. So it's awesome to hear that those guys are helping out. And I mean, I don't understand why Nick Boyd or why John Blackwell wouldn't, want to stay, but he's making money probably. Mm-hmm. We'll find out whatever that ends up being. But looking like a very good fit for the offense. And I think a lot of people after they saw that basically said Wisconsin has gotten the steal from the portal so far this year.
Yeah, and another player coming over, Victory. I'm going to butcher his last name unless do you know how to pronounce it? Anuto? Anuto, okay.
On Wetu?
Okay.
Yeah. When I was watching the swing with Zach Heilprin and Jesse Temple, and even they didn't know and couldn't agree on how to say it, I think we're okay with just calling them Victory.
But
just calling them Victory is fine.
Victory, I like the name. So I mean, there's already a marketing thing right there with it, with the name, right? So, a 6'10" kid coming out of Hofstra, and again, kind of like what you said, I'm sure some people are like, whoa, Hofstra. But, I mean, 56.6% shooting. I think he's more of a defensive guy, averaging 7 rebounds. But Sam Decker, had tweeted out, and he has experience with him when Victory was playing over in Spain and such. And Sam kind of talked about he's bringing something to Wisconsin that Wisconsin has been lacking for a while now. So I don't know if he means maybe like the physicality or the defensive presence that he brings. But, I mean, Decker gave him a pretty big ringing endorsement when this was announced.
Yeah, apparently he was on the practice squad for the team Sam Decker was on when he was playing in Spain. So he got to not play against him, but, play against him in practice and things like that. And he had 36 blocks last year in whatever conference Hofstra plays in. Mm-hmm. And he said, I think hopefully it's a real quote, because you can't really tell anymore when you're reading stuff. I'm here to protect the rim.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And I saw a lot of people being like, well, he's going to foul out in the Big Ten and all that kind of stuff. And it's meant to be seen. If I can get a guy who's overly aggressive defensively and fouls out in a game, I'd be okay with it. It's like you said in the Decker quote, it's been something Wisconsin's lacked for a while here. You have a defensive presence, a guy who doesn't seem like he'll be afraid to mix it up. And yeah, he's not the greatest of scorers. He doesn't shoot threes. So yeah, you'll have an inside presence on here, and hopefully a guy who, if there are a high volume of threes and there's games where they're not being made, he can either get a good putback or be able to start it up with 20 seconds on the clock again. So I do like it for the sole fact of it's a guy who seems to have a defensive mind and seems like he's going to be a good physical player in the Big Ten.
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, do we know if Wisconsin has any more open roster spots through the transfer portal for this year?
That is a great question, because I'm trying to think in terms of who's left. Nolan Winter hasn't been announced yet, but he didn't enter the transfer portal, so
right.
It'll be interesting. I mean, so he's coming back unless he's going to go Xavier Lucas and unenroll in school. But I'm really not sure. I didn't even look, because I know we got one or two freshmen coming in, then these three guys, so that's 5 roster spots. You had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys leaving, 7 with Isaac Gard graduating. So I think there's at least 2 more roster spots left. So, yeah, Wisconsin, I don't know what they have left in their NIL, but, they definitely can, I'm pretty sure, go out and get at least 2 more guys for the roster. And just because the portal is closed, it just means you can't enter it. Doesn't mean you can't exit it. So, hopefully in the coming days here, we got something that the Badgers will have as complete of a roster as they can, getting ready for the next season.
Right. Hey, I know we had some spring ball stuff going on and such for the Badger football team and that. Have you heard anything? Do you have an update on some of the stuff that maybe from Zach or anybody else that you've talked to about how spring ball has been going for the football team?
Pretty much the same as it has been, and they've been Fickle's been talking about it in every other press conference. It seems like, the defense had a good day today. The offense had a good day yesterday. People, at least media-wise, are liking what they see out of the other quarterback. I'm totally blanking on his name. Not Carter Smith. Not.
Is it not Joseph or?
Nope.
Okay.
It's like the one nobody's thinking about, but he's having a really good spring. Like, not to the point where he's going to be pushing for starting minutes, but pushing for being the number 2 or 3 guy on there. So
Deuce Adams?
Oh, man. Nope.
Okay.
Because he's the other one they brought in. Carter Smith is already on the roster. It's the 4th guy.
Okay.
And I'm really, wow. I wasn't ready for the question. And I even brought it up, so I don't even know why I brought it up. But
well, I got the roster here, so let me go through it for you. So you ready? I'll go through the quarterbacks here. Oh man, there's a lot. Okay, Ryan Hopkins.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. So people are loving what they're seeing out of him. So it'll be interesting in terms of moving forward. What kind of stuff he does now through the rest of the spring into fall camp, and see what kind of a player he'll end up being, at least roster-wise, where he'll fall. Because he wasn't one of those guys they brought in and expected to be doing this well, according to media and people who have been at practice, that he's pushing to get some more reps with higher guys. So we'll see what plays out there. But
no, I was going to say, I didn't realize Hopkins and Colton Joseph are both from Newport Beach, California. I just saw that on there too. So I don't know.
Yeah. There you go. Hey, something's in the water over there.
Apparently, yeah.
Yeah.
Looks like different high schools in that, but yeah, Newport Beach, California.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
A couple California boys.
Yeah, I like it.
Wisconsin used to have a pipeline there, but hey, it looks like it might be reopening through some channels or another. So, yeah, he's looking like he's having a really good spring, and it'll be interesting to see moving forward what he does.
Yeah. Hey, I know we got spring sports going on too. Softball's going on and such. I know we've got a lot of other track and field in that too. Did I see? Is it the Badger track and field coach is retiring after this year? Was it the track and field coach? I think. Yeah.
Okay. Yep. After 18 years, and before that, he was at Iona for another 20. So he's put in his time in college track and cross country, and he's done amazing at both schools. Honestly, it was kind of funny at the time he announced his retirement after McIntosh quit. It was one of those, we were joking here that I think he was just waiting for McIntosh to get fired before he retired, because he took away the indoor track and didn't leave anything except a warehouse into forest that boosters had to purchase to give them a space to practice for indoors. So it was just kind of funny, the timing, and maybe the bitterness towards the athletic administration that is probably outgoing now. So great career. Wish him nothing but the best. Put some good years in here at Wisconsin after another amazing coach, Ted Nuttycombe, retired himself after a long, successful career at both track and cross country here at Wisconsin. So you had back-to-back two pretty awesome coaches here for the track and field program in cross country.
So, you mentioned McIntosh and this. I know last week that was our big topic, and that's now that a week has gone by, a little over a week, have we heard any more names potentially? Is Marcus Edbury a legitimate candidate to be the full-time athletic director? I know he's interim and he's like the football GM and such. Have you heard any other names or have anything more pop up from the last time we talked about this?
Not really. It's just more speculation. I do know, the more I've read, a lot of people are pointing towards Frazier down at NIU. Okay. But I haven't heard an official announcement from anybody saying the search has started. So we still got that going on, where it's in limbo. There's been no announcements in terms of what's happening, other than the moves that were made last week. So it'll be it's a kind of wait and see until we start hearing the search has started, and people who, at least open record documents, let us know who's coming in for an interview. Mm-hmm. But yeah, right now, nothing new on that front. But like it always works for us, we'll probably get an announcement in 10 minutes saying the search has started. So we'll see what happens when we talk next week.
Do you think it matters for these prospective ADs that they're looking for a new chancellor and such, or do you think that's not that big of a hiccup for some of these names?
Well, as volatile as things are now, I would say you have to be looking at that in some way, shape, or form. If you can be given guarantees by somebody who won't be in power at the time, doesn't mean the new person's not going to just be like, well, sorry, that wasn't me. Mm-hmm. It's like, I didn't make that promise, so I don't know what to tell you. So you have, from bottom down, you have a football coach who's worried about the new AD. prospective new AD worried about whoever the heck the new chancellor is going to be. And really, new chancellor doesn't have to worry about the system president because that's really appointed by the Board of Regents, much like the chancellor is. So they kind of report to them. So don't really have to go further up than the chain of command there. But still, there's not a lot of stability at UW right now. So, it'll be interesting to see how this all plays out and where they have to go in order to find somebody who's comfortable enough to say yes to being Wisconsin's next athletic director.
Interesting. Good stuff as always, RJ. Hey, we appreciate the time, man. And yeah, you're right. So maybe I might have to text you in like 10, 15 minutes or so and say, here we go. Got another Badger thing. So.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, have a good rest of your week. And if that is the case, I'll talk to you here in a few minutes, man. So.
Yeah, that sounds good.
All right. Well, otherwise, we'll talk to you next week, buddy. Have a good one.
Yeah, you too. We'll talk to you then.
You got it. There you go. There's RJ Cardinal joining us here this morning talking all things Badgers. Hey, we got to take a quick break, play a little catch up, but we'll be back after these few words. Road trip season is right around the corner. Are you and your vehicle ready to go the distance? Well, before you hit the highway, make sure that your vehicle is in top shape with the help from AJM Automotive. From oil changes and tire checks to brakes and engine work, their experienced team will make sure that you are ready for wherever the road takes you. And now with 2 convenient locations in Eau Claire, getting your vehicle serviced has never been easier. Plan a trip and AJM Automotive will handle the rest. Just visit ajmautomotiveservices.com to schedule your appointment today. Just a quick note, we will have to take another break before the top of the hour. I know usually we're entering our final segment right around then, but we'll just giving you a little bit of a heads up here. So, and then we are at just past 9 o'clock. We'll catch up with Hunter. Hunter Baumgart will be joining us. Brewers reporter Hunter Baumgart will be joining us. Hunter is with Fox Sports Radio Wisconsin, Fox Sports 920. So we'll get his expertise and such surrounding the Brew Crew, especially leading up to their series with the Tigers, which starts tonight. So still get me your Toys and Ford Grind My Gears Tuesday. What is grinding your gears, peeps? Let us know. Send it on over. Also, sports confession time. I'll get you my confession coming up in the final hour this morning. So also your I'm not saying, but I'm just saying. Fill in the blanks. Best ones we will read up on the air. We've got Packers General Manager Brian Gutekunst. He's going to be talking with the media later on this morning. So if you could ask Goody one question. You're part of the media session, okay? You get to go in that new media room at Lambeau Field. What would be the one question? One question that you're going to ask GM Goody today. What would be the one? And, yeah, we know that he's probably not going to give you a very truthful answer and such. You know, you can't just straight up go out and ask, who are you going to draft at number 52? Are you going to trade up? Are you going to trade back? He ain't going to answer that. First of all, he doesn't know. All right? He can't tell you who he's going to draft 52. There's 51 other players that are going to be drafted before him. Second, he's not going to go in thinking that he's going to trade up or trade back. It's going to depend on how the board falls. But maybe we could ask him, would you be willing to trade your second and third round picks? Or maybe willing to trade your second round pick to go back, into the third round, like fallback? Or would he be willing to package those two to move up into the first? Knowing then he might only have like 4 picks total in this draft. And I'm sure he probably would answer in some sort of fashion like, if there's a player we believe that's at that spot, then yes, we would look to it. It's a very political, it's a very GM type of answer. But what other questions would you throw out there? All right, so you got an hour left to hit me up with what you would ask Goody. All right, plenty of different questions you could throw out there. So we'll get to some more of those coming up here in just a little bit. But hey, let's take a quick break. We'll wrap up the third hour. We'll get to Hunter coming up just past 9 o'clock. And we'll get back to some more Brewers chats with Hunter. So we'll be right back in just a couple minutes. It's springtime, and that means it is the perfect time to freshen up your home. At Carpet City Flooring Center, now is the season to take a look at what's under your feet and imagine what it could be, from soft, comfortable carpet that makes any room feel cozier to luxury vinyl planks and tile built for busy homes. There's something for every space, every budget, and every lifestyle. Maybe it's one room that needs a refresh, or maybe it's time for a full home update. Either way, the Carpet City Flooring Center team is there to help guide you through it all, from choosing the right style to professional installation that you can count on. Because spring isn't just about cleaning out the old. It's about bringing in something better, a brighter space, a cleaner look, a home that feels new again. So if you're ready to upgrade this season, stop on in and see what's possible. Carpet City Flooring Center in Eau Claire, where your next project starts from the floor up. Before we wrap up the third quarter and get into the fourth quarter here, it is time for some sports confessions. All right, I've done my grind my gears. I've done my I'm not saying, but I'm just saying. It is now time for my confession, my sports confession. And I confess, I was wrong. A few years ago, when he was in the draft, he was clearly the number one pick, number one prospect. I had questions. I didn't know if he would be able to hold up. He's a tall dude, but I didn't know if his body type would be able to hold up in the NBA, whether he was going to live up to the hype and the potential that everybody was putting on him. And so far he has, and I'm talking about Victor Wembanyama. Victor Wembanyama last night, being announced as the NBA's Defensive Player of the Year, which isn't too surprising. But what's surprising is the man becomes the first unanimous Defensive Player of the Year winner. That, to me, was surprising, considering we have had players who have won this award multiple times. I'm not talking just like two. I'm talking like 4 times. And we're thinking about defensive players, Gary the Glove Payton, Dennis Rodman, Dikembe Mutombo. None of those players won it in unanimous fashion. That surprised me yesterday. In fact, the closest was Ben Wallace. Ben Wallace in the 01-02 season received 116 out of the 121st place votes. That was the closest. But Victor Wembanyama becoming the first. I mean, even Dwight Howard went back to back to back. Kawhi Leonard didn't get unanimous. Victor Wembanyama becoming the first one to do it. And this year, 25 points per game, 3.1 blocks per game, 11.5 rebounds per game. When he came in, kind of like Chet Holmgren, I was like, okay, is the body type going to hold up? He's tall. He's 7'4", but he's only 235. I confess, I've been wrong. We're talking about, he had the talent. I didn't know if he was going to be able to hold up in the NBA. I'm going to be real with you. I didn't know. And he has. He definitely has. But the fact that he has become the first unanimous, that to me is pretty impressive, considering none of those guys that played in the age of like the defensive era and such, none of those guys got, or maybe that's the other way of looking at this thing, is like, oh, well, hey, nobody in the NBA plays defense anyways now. So, of course, this has got to be, the first time a unanimous defensive player comes in because, well, if there's only one guy that legitimately plays defense, there you go. Kind of tongue-in-cheek, but maybe not for some people. But I confess, Victor's proven me a little bit wrong. I thought he'd be an okay player. I didn't think he was going to live up to the monstrous hype that he had coming into this thing, and I think he has so far. I think that's fair to say. So, I confess, sports gods, I've been wrong. I was a little wrong on Victor. So, all right, coming up in just a few minutes to kick off the fourth quarter, the fourth hour, we're going to chat with Hunter Baumgart, Brewers reporter. We'll get the latest and greatest surrounding this team. 12-9, but they're last place in the division because the National League Central is off to a fast start, a hot start to begin this season. We'll preview the upcoming series against the Tigers, get Hunter's thoughts on Coleman Crow. Are we going to see him again this year at some point in time? Maybe the latest on some of the injuries. Jackson Churio, is he going to be coming back anytime soon and all that? So we'll chat with Hunter coming up here in just a little bit. And then we'll get back to some more draft talk. How much pressure should Goody be heading into this draft? You could say that for anybody, for any team, for any general manager. But it's a little bit different for Goody this year considering the window that is opened for this Packers team. So we'll get to that talk here as we inch closer and closer to the start of the NFL draft. But shot clock's going to cut me off, so we got some news updates, and then we'll kick off the final quarter, the fourth quarter, with a little Brew Crew talk with our good friend Hunter from Fox Sports Radio. Fox Sports Radio, Wisconsin, Fox Sports 920. So that'll be coming up here in just a few minutes.